Hi, this is George Alger. Welcome to another segment of Our Ventura TV. Today I'm speaking with Kathleen Good, who is a producer at CAPS TV, which is a community media center here in Ventura, California. Welcome, Kathy.
Well, hi. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about your experiences here at CAPS and how you even found out about it. As a matter of fact, when did you get started as a producer here?
I think it was 2008, about 5 years ago.
And do you remember how you heard about it?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a story. I retired from teaching, and I was looking around for something to do for a couple of years. My husband and I are cinephiles, film aficionados. So we go to the Santa Barbara Film Festival every year, and I saw a really good film there made by a young woman, and it was kind of rough and amateurish, but it was really good. I mean, it was from the heart. It was about the division in India and Pakistan. She was an Indian woman, and anyway, it was great. And I said to my husband, I said, well, that's what I'll do. I'll make a film. So we decided, my husband said, oh, what a great idea, but I had no idea how to do it. I have no background in it. So we were kind of thinking of what we could do. And my husband said, why don't you do something on the homeless? And I said, oh, good idea. So we went to a local meeting about the homeless, and I said, I'm interested in making a film. And all these people came up and started giving me their cards. So I called one of the men. He was a local psychiatrist who works with homeless people, and he liked my idea of using art therapy with homeless, but it needed more work. And I said, well, wait a minute, I don't even have a camera. I don't even know how to do this. So he said, well, why don't you go to CAPS TV? And that's kind of how it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a perfect way to segue into your experience getting introduced to CAPS. So, and tell us what occurred when you came here.
Well, I came in, and they're just the most wonderful people. Their staff is they're so helpful. So I set Donald helped me set up in the studio here, and I had my neighbor of mine, and I didn't know what to do, but I thought, well, I'd start with something simple. So, I'm really interested in the environment and recycling. So I had her talking about things that they did on the ranch, and but it was kind of dry. So then I took the camera home to practice, and somebody suggested I go out and maybe shoot cars going by, but I thought that was really boring. So I set up in my kitchen, and I was showing people how to use reusable jars and putting leftover green beans in. It sounds really hokey, and it was. In fact, my niece, who is a USC film and drama graduate, came up to say, she said, Kathy, this is really cheesy. So she said, you have to think of something different, something unusual, some new way to present this. So I came up with these, it took a while, but I came up with these humorous little scenarios, and I got a lot of my friends to be in. I called us the Reuseniks, which came from there was a movie about the Russian refuseniks who refused to, I can't remember exactly what, but they were, were going to be deported from Russia. But anyway, I kind of played off that name. We called it Reuseniks. And I got a lot of my friends to tell me things that, that they did to save the environment. And so I did this whole thing on packaging, and all the packaging we get with our foods and how to conserve some of it. We came up with some really kind of over-the-top things, but they were pretty funny. And so I did a whole series, and then that moved on to working with Reuseniks H2O, which was all about conserving water. And that ended up being an hour program, an hour of various skits and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you evolved from a pretty humble beginning. And
beginning. Okay. At my own experience. Yeah. Actually, I use my life experience. Yeah.
Good. So, and then I know you've won an award.
Yeah, I won two.
2 awards. Okay.
Yeah, I won one for my British Canal Reflections, Finding a Greener Way in the Past. My husband and I lived in England for about 10 years. While we were there living in London, I knew a little bit about the canals, but never really had time. But we went back in 2009, and we stayed near Braunston, where the canals are. Yeah, they were so gorgeous. I spent a whole week running around with my little tiny digital camera, interviewing the narrow boaters. It's really quite a nice piece, and I always try to find a green message no matter what I do. So the message there was these these boats and canals are built to last. Maybe we need to look back to some of the greener practices of the past. So I won an award for that and for one of my reuseniks called 6th Grade Green Short Shorts.
This is great. So tell us about what you learned so that you could make your shows of such a higher quality than the beginning.
Well, I learned how to use the camera. It's like I do almost everything myself. I'm not the greatest at it, but what I'm really good at is putting things together. So I manage. But they, taught me how to use the camera, and even though I've made some mistakes with that, forgetting the color balance and whatever, but and editing was the biggest hurdle of all because I didn't really learn how to use a computer until I was like in my mid-50s. I had a job in London as a psychotherapist, and I didn't really need a computer. And but we came back to the States, so I worked. I went back to teaching for a short time, and I had to do a crash course in it. But using a Mac was and an editing program. It took me a year to edit the British canals, but I'll tell you, the staff, they're so patient, and no matter what you ask, how dumb you feel, they, oh, okay, and then they just show you what to do or point you in the right direction. So,
Well, good. Yeah. Now, this is a superb example of, I didn't know you didn't have computer experience, so that's pretty...
Well, I had a little, but I could do Word, and I could do attendance programs, and I could do, internet stuff. I had basic skills, but nothing very refined. It was a real challenge, but between the staff and the manual, and I just kept plugging away at it. And now I'm learning Final Cut Pro, which is a professional editing program. So, I'm working on Iceland. We just went to Iceland last year. Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've learned about computers more. You've learned about editing software. You've certainly learned how to use the cameras and some of the things that goes with that. So those are the technical skills. Now, there's more than technical skills that go into making a production of any kind. So speak to whether you call it your organizational or creative skills or all the above, but speak to what it is that you bring to the table to create the shows that you do.
Well, I think I'm a really very creative person. I'm an artist. I work in fiber, although I haven't done that for some time. It's very hard on the hands. So now I edit, which is even worse. But, the creative process has to do with being technical. You need to master the technical things. I haven't totally done that yet. And by working with it, you become inspired. That's where the creativity comes. You're working on, this could go here. I'm looking at the timeline, and if I put this here, this is my beginning. This is the theme. It's looking back to the past. So I think it's all the things I've done in my life. I've lived abroad. I've traveled. I've have experiences. I've lived in all the major cities: London, New York, San Francisco. You just pick up ideas. I know a lot of artists, and teaching had really taught me a lot about directing. And I work with only amateurs because I can't afford to pay anybody. But I'm really good at directing people and being non-intimidating and reinforcing and I'm good at putting things together, but it's not easy, but you just keep working away at it. It just becomes really satisfying.
Good. I want to touch on the intimidation aspect of it only because for someone who is looking at learning something new like you did,
right.
Even coming into a facility that's technical possibly could be intimidating. Right. I don't know if that's the case or not, but just describe a little bit about your experience coming here the first time.
Well, it was just totally positive. I
Okay.
mean, totally positive. I mean, the staff is just friendly, and they are non-intimidating. I mean, they do have rules about it, checking out the equipment, which is only fair. I mean, they have to preserve their equipment. But no, using the equipment, for me personally, I'm not a very technical person, was intimidating. But they're really helpful. I mean, I was on a shoot once, and I had to call Donald. I can't remember where in the menu the audio is. You have to. It's really weird. You have to turn something off in order to have it on. Stuff like that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But they're just helpful. I mean, if anyone feels like they would like to do something, they could do it. I mean, they will give you the help and support you need, and if you're willing to work hard at it, and you can get what you need here.
Good. Now let's cover some of the services that are available that you're familiar with for the public. So.
Well, they have classes for cameras. I think they start with an orientation. They have classes and camera and editing. You can reserve editing rooms if you don't have, computer and software at home. I had a computer, but I didn't have the software. So I worked here for about a year, working on my British canals. I felt like I was part of the staff because I'd come in so much. But, they also, you can just ask some questions. Some they can answer, some they can't. I mean, what you put together is your information. But they also have music that you can use, and I just love their music library. I mean, some pieces I might put 20 or 30 different pieces of music in, and I had a lot of fun, playing with that. It's another layer of enhancement. I can't. They also have little clips. I can't remember what they're called, that you can use just to back up some of the stuff. Hardly anybody uses them. Sorry, I can't remember what they're called.
Okay, but they have other technical support. That's good for producers.
Yeah.
Good. So you can use certainly the studio like we're using right now. You can take out equipment.
Right.
And it's all kinds of equipment, actually.
Yeah. So, right.
Yeah, nice cameras and lighting equipment and audio equipment.
Right. Yeah. They've updated equipment.
Yeah.
Some of which I haven't taken out yet. I've been doing it's some travel pieces, and so I take a small camera with me, which is just really hard. Yeah, but the equipment's really nice. It's really been improved in the last 5 years.
And I think it's good that you emphasize the, the editing bays, because that is worth emphasizing. I mean, it's an opportunity for folks to come in. They can use high-powered computers, and they can use sophisticated software and have someone show them how to use it.
Well, and also the voiceover room. They have a soundproof voiceover room, which I use all the time, because I put scripts together, and I've used them, directing other people. I sometimes get other people to do my voiceovers, and I do them myself. So, and they've taught me how to use the software for that.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we're just about out of time here. In fact, if there's a way that if someone wanted to get in touch with you, maybe to help you or ask you any questions, what would be a good way for them to do that?
Well, probably my email, which, do you want me to give the email?
Sure.
Yeah, kgood30@roadrunner.com.
Good. Well, we're just about out of time. Is there any final message you'd like to convey to folks?
Well, I think if anyone's interested in doing a production, I mean, you don't have to do it the way I do. You don't have to do everything yourself. You certainly can recruit other people to do your camera or do your editing. I think they should just come down and see what it's like and give it a go. I've been trying to talk a friend of mine into hosting a program. So.
Well, great. All right. Well, thank you very much, Kathy, for coming by and talking about CAPS TV.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. This is George Alger signing off for another segment of Our Ventura. Until we see you again.